Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Astrology Now with astrologer Babula Clement and myself, Sheryl Gotchall. So we are here to talk about the next lunar cycle and kick it off, Babula. I've been looking at things myself and I'm thinking, gosh, where do you jump in? Because there's so much going on around this full moon in Leo that's coming up.
That's right.
But maybe you can take us from the beginning.
Well, every 4 weeks when there's a full moon, it's the peak of the current lunar cycle that began 2 weeks earlier at the new moon. So this cycle is all about Aquarius, basically, because, 2 weeks prior, we had the new moon at, 10, I think, 10 or 11 degrees of Aquarius, square Uranus and conjunct Saturn. So it's a dynamic new moon. And not only that, I realized after our chat last time for the new moon, I forgot to mention the year of the tiger.
Oh, yes, the water tiger.
I know, because that new moon marked the first day of the year of the tiger. So it was a really strong, dynamic Aquarian full moon with themes of the people and freedom, galvanizing and not only galvanizing because Saturn was on it, getting super organized. And we're seeing that now. And also the forces of control pushing back hard. But so it's an Aquarius, but it's the year of the tiger. So that means we completed the year of the ox, which is very earthy and grounded and more slow moving. The tiger energy is energy, movement, change, that the fierce tiger who will protect its young and take action. So it was a very powerful, we're in a very powerful lunar cycle. And immediately you could see that manifesting around the world, these massive movements of people galvanizing, getting organized on a very large scale. And I think that tiger energy, we're in for a tiger year.
Yeah, we the people are certainly mobilized, that's for sure.
Absolutely. And it's an energy of moving forward and action. And so fascinating stuff. So now we're at the full moon, which is the peak of this cycle. And as we all know, for years we will have all experienced, full moon is gorgeous in the sky if the skies are clear. But the full moon always heightens everything. Like there's this buildup of energy as the two lights, the two luminaries, the sun and the moon are in an exact opposition, and the moon is fully lit. So, emotions come to a peak. The energy is heightened. People often don't sleep so well. There's usually a lot going on. So this full moon is no different. So it's a full moon in Leo because the moon is exactly in opposition to the sun in Aquarius. And I just wanted to mention something that I haven't yet, and I've meant to, and I kept forgetting. It's very interesting that we're in a phase of 7 full moons in a row at 7 months, all at 27 degrees of each subsequent sign. And this is the 5th out of 7 at 27. So that's the last couple of degrees of the sign. And the last couple of degrees of every sign always have an added kind of intensity and potency about them. So again, we're in this cycle, this phase of all these full moons being at these very strong degrees.
Yeah. And I was just thinking while you were talking that, the full moon in Leo, I was thinking of like a biblical quote, let there be light, because you said about shining the light. And with Leo particularly, it's because it's such a, it's fire sign and they often initiate things and, flare up.
Yes.
All those sorts of things. But I was just thinking about let there be light. It's like the burst of creativity, isn't it? It just comes in. Well.
It really is. And, Leo's ruled by the sun, that bright fire, light, power, energy. So it's solar energy. And the sun is in Aquarius. I see Aquarius as a sign of light. It's ruled by Uranus. Uranus and Aquarius have got so much. They are the sign and planet that we associate most with astrology. The light of the stars, higher knowledge, truth, freedom, those sorts of. So there's a lot of light energy and cosmic energy in this very potent full moon, which is on in our part of the world. It's on February the 17th, when that moon will be at 27 degrees of Leo. So Leo's not a quiet energy. It's not a quiet sign. The lion, I've got a little grandson with 5 planets in Leo. He's like a noise machine. It's just, and he's got Aquarius energy as well. So he's just so full of this energy.
Yeah, but not all of them are they? Because I've got 2 friends who are Leos, and they're very quiet.
There will be other mitigating energies in the chart.
Yeah.
This little guy's got a lot of Leo and a lot of other fire as well.
Yeah.
But there might be a lot of water, which can really quieten that energy down, or a strong Saturn influence,
Yeah.
But still, the Leo will come out because it's a sign of power. It's one of the power signs. It can be very much about leadership. I'm seeing that as well. It's interesting, this Leo Aquarius, we're seeing ordinary people, ordinary Australians, ordinary Canadians, ordinary Kiwis around who we haven't even heard of before, are coming through and taking the most extraordinary roles of leadership for and on behalf of the people.
Yeah.
And they are addressing directly those in positions of power and authority politically. They are direct. It's so fascinating, isn't it? These issues around leadership.
I was thinking too, because the movements have been quite organic, and at least in Australia. And I was looking at the colours relating to Leo, which is orange, apparently, but in that is yellow and red, and that orange colour represents instinctual wisdom. And it's like people are seeing what's going on with this movement, and they instinctively know they've got to be there.
Yes.
So and that's really interesting.
It is, isn't it? It's it's like it started in Canada, and it's like it lit a flame, didn't it? Yes. Around the world. And my understanding is they were very organized. They were very, very organized in the way they went about this, but it lit a spark. And so around the world, this fire moved. And so it created this spontaneous response.
Yeah.
It's incredible, really.
Yeah.
And Mercury's gone into Aquarius. Mercury moved into Aquarius on the 15th, so 2 days before. The sun's in Aquarius. There's a lot more to say about this full moon, because it also happens to be forming a square. So in the chart, it'll look like that: sun, moon, north node, south node. We call it a grand cross or a grand square. So the north and south nodes of the moon are now in these late degrees of Taurus and Scorpio. So we've got this fixed grand cross. And so there's this tremendous determination and will, the will of the people is coming together. And it's like an unstoppable force, and they're holding their ground. Like in New Zealand, in Wellington, they're all camping in front of Government House, and it's been raining heavily all night, and the government turned on all the sprinklers. But it's like they're going, we're not going anywhere.
Yes. Yeah.
It's quite extraordinary. So there's these fixed signs have this tremendous determination, to hold with whatever comes at it. So holding the ground, it's quite intense.
Yeah. And they're quite confident about it too, which is also a Leo expression, isn't it?
It is. And I think a lot of the confidence comes from the Aquarian sense of there's so many of us.
Yeah, that's true.
And we didn't realize there were so many of us.
Yeah. And growing.
That's right. And because leaders are organically showing up, that also helps everyone to feel like, okay, this is what we're doing. So pretty extraordinary. And on the same day as the full moon, there is a Venus-Mars conjunction at 16 degrees of Capricorn.
Mm.
So I think we touched on that last time, didn't we?
Yeah, yeah.
And
go on.
yeah. And so this is really significant. Roughly every 18 months or so, Venus and Mars in their orbits come together and form what we call a conjunction, when two planets are together, you know, in alignment together in the sky. And they're doing that in the sign of Capricorn, which is a pretty important sign for us all over these few years. You know, there's a lot going on with that Capricorn energy. So Venus is the feminine principle of love, of beauty, of union, of relationship, of harmony. You know, it's moved by and responds to love and the heart. Mars is the masculine principle. They form like a pair of polar opposites in a way, the feminine, the masculine, in us all. So we all have Venus and Mars energy. So Mars is more the masculine energy of action, will, taking action. I have to do something about it now. But it's because Venus and Mars are together in union, it's the masculine and feminine principle uniting. So the action is also coming from love. It's actually a movement of, and that's what I'm seeing. This is a movement of love, taking action, but peaceful.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And people are supporting each other. Like I'm reading reports of in these massive camps, and people are just camping and bringing their camper vans, and families getting in cars and going down, and people are setting up massage tables, giving Reiki, you know, providing food, giving, you know, if somebody hasn't got something, somebody will have it for them.
It's been a massive outpouring.
Massive. People are sending money to help, you know, provide with what they need. And unbelievable, actually. I don't think we've ever seen anything like this. To me, it's just a beautiful thing.
Well, for me, I remember it was like that when we had the floods in Brisbane.
Exactly.
Same thing back in, what was it, 2011?
Yes, it was.
And yeah, same thing. People just poured out of everywhere.
That's right.
Volunteering to help people clean out their homes, feed them, look after them. It was just incredible. And exactly the same sort of thing, you know?
Exactly. Because at the core of it, human beings are good. We are innately good on you know, by and large, you know, really, you know,
I agree.
They absolutely are, aren't they? And when the heart is activated like that, and you can see that there's something happening that is fundamentally good. Yeah. And real action. It's quite remarkable. So this very powerful full moon on the same day as this Venus-Mars conjunction. Interesting about this Venus-Mars conjunction, it's very interesting. Normally they'll be sort of traveling very close together in a conjunction for about 2 weeks. This time we have them together for about 2 months, because they're going to make another conjunction on March the 6th, about 2 to 3 weeks later, at 0 degrees of Aquarius. And I was talking about this in a workshop I was running on Mount Tamborine on the weekend, and I see it very much as, you know, Venus and Mars in Capricorn meeting with Pluto, going through these deep, powerful initiations in the underworld. And then on the 6th of March, together, united, you can almost imagine them holding hands, you know, stepping out of Capricorn, having been initiated into Aquarius at 0 degrees of Aquarius. So it is an extraordinary time for these two to be doing such strong, having a strong relationship with each other while we're in this particular lunation cycle, this Aquarian lunation cycle. It's quite remarkable.
While that Venus and Mars are in a Capricorn, though, that's affecting finances and business too, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And of course, that's one of the things that's galvanizing people.
Mm.
Many people have lost jobs for
Mm.
various reasons. Businesses are closing. It's had massive impact. And when Mars kicks in, often it's because I've had enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just enough. I have to do something. So Mars takes action.
Yeah. And I guess with the Venus, it's the sending of the money to their people, who are camping outside Parliament House in Canberra, Australia's capital, in protest.
That's right. And now they're actually, I mean, they're just still coming. They're still coming from all over the country. They're coming in busloads now.
Yes. Amazing.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So it's a very powerful time. There's also, and this is worth noting, we're now in a period since Mercury turned direct. There are no retrograde planets until the end of April.
Oh, you.
I know. So when I posted that on Facebook last week, like the response was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Look, and it's not that retrograde planets are terrible, but they are, we go through a lot.
Yeah.
And there's very commonly a period every year, sometimes it's very short, when we get this period where every planet's moving forward. And that's very symbolic. It's like a metaphor for, okay, the energy's moving forward, now let's go. There's no impeding progress.
Yeah.
So things that, in addition to everything we've just spoken about, there are no planets retrograde. So, and we're in the year of the tiger. So there's this tremendous sense of movement forward.
Yeah.
Well,
that's good. We want that.
It's good. And even, in our own personal lives, with our own work, our day-to-day reality, our families, our relationships, our health, all of the same applies. Everything we've spoken of applies to our own personal, reality. Yeah.
Well, we certainly don't want to stay where we are. We don't know what's coming, but we don't want to stay where we are.
No, that's right. That's right. So there's a lot going on. And I think the theme of love is an important one. Leo, this full moon in Leo is the heart. It's both the physical heart, what's going on with people's physical hearts. It's also the heart, the heart chakra, because Leo in the body literally governs the chest area. Not the breasts in a woman, that's more Cancer, but it is the heart and the chest. And often Leo men have this kind of quite, Leo's often like stand up tall like this with the chest forward. It's this area, but it's also heart and love and the physical heart also. And of course the North Node in Taurus ruled by Venus, the goddess of love. I think love is an important kind of guiding energy at the moment.
Yeah. And I think that we the people have ambitions and goals to change things with our own aspirations. Again, all these things are expressions of Leo too, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's right. They are. That's right. That word sovereign comes up a lot, and to me, it's a very Leo word. It's the sovereignty of the self, our own innate. And I'll use the term God-given sovereignty, and we can all interpret that however we like, but it's just an innate truth. We're born sovereign.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So on February the 19th, because this full moon in Leo Aquarius is at 27 degrees 59, almost 28 degrees, 2 days later, the sun will leave Aquarius and go into Pisces. So Aquarius is very high energy. It's people, community, ideas. It's an air sign, the mind.
Yep. Thoughts out of the blue.
Inspiration. restless nights, not sleeping so well. Look, I think we're all having experiences of that.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. We're all a bit tired.
Mm.
That's right. When the sun goes into Pisces, there's a noticeable shift. So this is the last sign of the zodiac. And in my experiences, I've watched these things over the years, we can feel the change like immediately. So that day on the 19th, there's a change of energy from that high sort of electrical energy of Aquarius into water. It's the sign of letting go, releasing, resting, allowing, sort of taking our hands off the steering wheel a bit and going with the flow and calling on more, those energies of, we can use language like the divine spirit, God, angels, mystery, soul, whatever.
Dream time.
Dream time, exactly. Dream time's perfect for this.
Mm.
Whatever is our way of understanding that mystery, because it is. Pisces does represent, the mystery and the unfathomable. So it's, over the years, I came to discover, sometimes the hard way as we do, not to overschedule myself during the Pisces month when the sun's going through Pisces for those 4 weeks. Because a couple of reasons, often because my physical energy just wasn't that strong and I'd just be getting really tired easily, but also things can just feel overwhelming.
Yeah.
We can feel like really sensitive, a bit vulnerable. Our immune system needs more support. Medical astrology, Pisces governs the immune system.
Yeah.
We need more rest. We need to be eating really, good, healthy, clean food. Taking whatever supplements and herbs we know support that, just more. It's a time to have time out.
Yeah.
It's a time. Yeah.
No, I was going to say, you can feel the shifts between when we're talking about Leo and talking about Pisces, and just the words, because it's a softer, gentler, dreamier sort of energy, isn't it?
It really is. It really is. So, it's a beautiful time to do any of the activities that we consider more spiritual, whether it's meditation or prayer or, just really put aside time for those things. Anything to do with the arts, anything creative, our imagination can be so available during that time. Music, like just taking time out to lie on the couch and listen to your favorite music and do nothing for a few hours. That's on call, during the Pisces month.
Yeah. Nice. I'm there already.
I know. I can see it. And also, like, I love often using astrology in the most simple of ways, like just get really fundamental. Water. Drinking lots of really pure, clean water, like literally, and I mean that, like drinking a lot of water to help clear and release stuff out of the body. Getting yourself near water as much as possible. Those who live inland, not so available. If it's raining, just go and stand out in the rain. Find a creek. Get yourself in the bath. Like literally bringing water into our life while the sun's going through Pisces. It might sound a bit basic, but really, it's actually real. Like while the sun's in Aquarius, we need air. We need to breathe. We need oxygen. We need, I always think Aquarius is like, open all the windows and let the fresh air and energy just move through your house.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep. The winds of change. In Pisces, it's literally water.
Yeah. So going with the flow in a different way.
Going with the flow. Fish, it's the sign of the fish. It's a very fluid energy. It's a mutable sign. Aquarius is fixed. Our mental energy is very strong in Aquarius. In Pisces, it can feel like, what's happened to my brain? People will say that, like, I feel like my brain's gone out to lunch.
Yeah. It's also, being a water sign is also being intuitive too.
Very intuitive.
Yeah.
Very intuitive. Um, the dream time, be dreamy.
Mm.
Yeah. Let your mind, let your, it's a time for the right brain, not so much the left brain. It's not a time where being analytical is going to really work that well. Although Mercury will be in Aquarius for some of that time the sun's in. So so there is still some mental capacity available, thankfully.
I like the way you say that.
Yes, there will
A
still
little
be
bit there.
there will still be some functioning on the mental plane. So that's helpful.
Yes, always.
But you know, in some weeks after, the Mercury will go into Pisces and then forget it. Like just forget it.
Mm.
But yeah, I think it's just, you know, if we do anything to do with anything intuitive, imaginative, creative, just really make space for that. Like I painting, because there's been such a big move and so many changes, and I'm not set up yet. I haven't picked up a paintbrush for about 3 months. So
Oh, well, you've been moving house, so it's been hard to do
I've
that.
been moving house and adjusting and still getting organized. It's been mega. So
Yes.
you know, so I'm really aware of during that Pisces period. I want to make sure I'm really make space for that. So it becomes more of a priority, I think. You know, it's a time for us not to put too much pressure on ourselves, or to just respond to the flow instead of trying to make things happen or make them be what we want them to be. Just let them organically be more fluid. And actually what I found when I say that, when we're in that Pisces energy, like really in that state of trust and flow, the most amazing things happen. It's like that old Zen saying, the spring comes and the grass grows by itself. True magic, you know, magic is afoot. When we let go of the reins sometimes, especially when the Pisces energy comes in, the most extraordinary things can happen. We go, oh, I find myself saying sometimes, I couldn't have planned that if I tried.
Yes. Yep.
It's literally magic. So I think that's an important thing to remember.
Yeah.
You know, when we're feeling like, oh God, nothing's going the way I want it to. That's right.
Yeah. Yes. Well, that does sometimes happen, of course, but you know, there's that letting go, that real sense of letting go and letting flow.
That's right. That's right. Some people call it let go and let God, let go and let flow, just allow. And we humans don't find that easy. We've been so programmed to feel like we have to always be in charge and in control.
Yeah, when you think about Pisces symbol is the fish, you know, they go with where the currents take them.
They do.
They pick up on those and they ride those to their advantage and to opportunities. They're quite opportunistic, but also related to that. There's like a codependency there, or interdependency is a better word, of the environment. So allow the things in the environment to guide you.
Exactly. That's exactly. And you know, in the sea, like there's a fixed water sign, and that's Scorpio. That's more like you could imagine the element of water being frozen solid. That's more that. But Pisces is a mutable sign. It's fluid. So the ocean, you know, I've never gone diving, but I've seen all the documentaries and everything's moving.
Yes.
So it's a sign of movement, even though it's not necessarily dynamic. It's fluid and always moving. So there's a flow, you know, it's soft, fluid, and our intuition guides us and we move and respond to that. You know, it's a different kind of energy. So, but yeah, I can't emphasize it more. As much as you're able, make space for just rest. And, you know, if you're planning a holiday, go to the sea and just, you know, have days when you just don't do a single thing. We all have been through so much, and this is a time of year where we can take a bit of a break.
Yes. Yeah.
Just do things that, you know, that our soul enjoys and loves.
Yes, actually, you've touched on a good point there. Soul food.
Yes.
Yes, doing things that feed your soul, nourish your soul.
That's
you know,
right.
taking time to read that book, meditate, put on the essential oils, anything that gets you into that lovely state.
Exactly. And I love that you mentioned essential oils. Like, just create It might be like you've been wanting to do it for ages, you know, make the house beautiful in a very simple way, you know, burn some essential oils, just create a lovely space for relaxation. I
Yeah.
know everyone's life circumstances don't always allow for that. Children, people losing jobs, all of that. But if you can take any of what we've been speaking of and just bring in some of that, it's so helpful.
Mm.
Yeah. On I'm just going to throw this one in. On February the 23rd, Saturn will be at 18 degrees of Aquarius. And this is just because I love playing around with asteroids. It's going to be forming a conjunction with the asteroid Australia.
Okay.
And I like this because it's in Aquarius. Now, Australia is one of the major asteroids, and she is the goddess who we astrologers often regard as the asteroid, because Aster means stars, asteroid, astrology, astronomy. Astraea was the goddess of the stars, you know, who gave this, you know, gift of star knowledge and star lore to the people. So while she's currently traveling through Aquarius, on the 23rd, she's going to make an exact conjunction with Capricorn. And that means that over that whole week or so, she's very close with not Capricorn, with Saturn in Aquarius.
Mm.
So, you know, I mean, what an amazing time for anyone who's learning, studying astrology, you know, to really, it'd be a great time to, you know, put aside some time to focus and really get into that. I'm guessing astrologers will probably be quite busy around that week or so.
Let me ask you a question about asteroids.
Yeah.
How powerful are their influences as opposed to the planets, though? Because I'm asking that because I'm sure some people are wondering.
That's a great question. I would say, on the whole, less. They're less powerful and important. Like if it can get very complicated when you start throwing asteroids in, so stick to the planets. The planets are the main story. Studying and playing with asteroids comes later. You know, once you've got the groundwork understanding of astrology and how it works. But there are about half a dozen asteroids, the ones that were discovered and named first, and the larger ones that are regarded as sort of more significant. In fact, the first one, Ceres, discovered in 1800, is by far the largest. She's 4 times larger than any of the others, which is why she was seen first. And she was actually promoted by astronomers to the status of minor planet when they demoted Pluto to minor planet, which is a laugh in itself. They lifted Ceres up, this is in the astronomical world, to the status of minor planet because she's quite important. So some astrologers would work with some of these major asteroids almost as planets. They regard them as important. But they're really experienced and understand the basic chart with them. So I would say fundamentally less important and less powerful. And it's more like another layer. Is that helpful? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So the simple answer is no, they're not as powerful.
Yeah.
I
get that.
Some astrologers might disagree and argue the point, but for people for whom this is new, just don't worry. But I just love their stories and their energy.
Yeah, well, I really enjoyed your webinar about asteroids. And anyway, if Babula, if you're going to run it again this year, I recommend that people go because it really is very interesting.
Yeah, I think I will. I'm doing more around this. So I did one on the Mercury will be 11 degrees of Aquarius. So Mercury is moving through Aquarius and will make a square to Uranus, which is interesting because that's pretty much where the new moon was 2 weeks ago at that degree square Uranus. So now Mercury, so that will be around that date, the 25th, and those couple of days. Again, yeah, you might want to take a few nice sleeping herbs, you know, for those couple of nights. Our sleep's likely to be disturbed, but our minds will be really alert and switched on. Great for doing good, strong, productive mental work. Revolution will be in the air very much.
Yeah, so we won't want any mugwort because
Yeah,
that keeps you awake.
oh yes, thank you. No, we don't need that one. No, you know, lots of chamomile tea and various kinds of things, you know. Not cup of coffee before you go to bed. No, no. In here, it's kind of an aside, but it's very relevant. And you'll be aware of this, and astrologers have been speaking of this for a couple of years now. In 2022, the United States of America is going through, and I will stick my neck out here and say, the most powerful and the most important transit it's had since its birth in the 1700s. And that's because the birth chart of the United States has Pluto at 27 degrees of Capricorn. Well, guess where Pluto is this year? 27 degrees of Capricorn.
Yeah.
247 years later. It takes that long for Pluto to complete and come back to where it started. So this is a massively important, powerful transit of utter, complete, and total death and rebirth and change and transformation for the United States.
Yeah.
It's been going on for years. It's been building up to this for years. So much has been going on underground and behind the scenes. It's all cracking open. Or everything, every aspect, the political, social, is cracking open and is about to crack asunder. And it has to go through this passage of rebirth. So during this period, during the month of February, Pluto makes its first exact return, and there'll be 2 more throughout the year. So we can consider that the whole year, the United States is going through its Pluto return.
Yeah, there's a lot happening there, that's for sure.
A great deal. So it's intense, and it won't be easy for that nation, but it's like a time of reckoning for, you know, every single person living in that country and what they align with and so on. So yeah.
But that's going to have a flow-on effect to other countries on the planet too.
It certainly is, all around the world. That will reverberate all around the planet, not because it's the most important country in the world, but it is big, it is powerful, it is significant. You know, it holds a pretty strong position on the stage, doesn't it? So you know, for years, people have been calling the president of the United States the most powerful president of what they call the free world. Well, our ideas about free world has completely been shattered.
Yeah, and also the president they have at the moment. So it's like as he breaks down, so does the country.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, that's
to look at his chart.
Yes, I haven't for a little while, but I have it handy. You know, I've been collecting all these charts, and every now and then when something happens, I pull one of them out and go, oh, yes. Yeah. It's happening.
Yes.
Yeah. So that brings us to the new moon on March the 3rd. And because the sun is in Pisces, so the sun is currently in Pisces, so the new moon on March the 3rd will be a Pisces new moon. And that new moon completes the Aquarius new moon cycle and begins the Pisces lunar cycle. And it's actually quite beautiful. It'd be beautiful to talk about this more next time, but I'll touch on it here because it's in Pisces conjunct Jupiter. Yeah, it's a really close conjunction. I think there's only 2 degrees separation.
Right.
So next time I'll definitely talk a lot more about Jupiter going through Pisces. It's going to, in April, form a very important conjunction with Neptune. And this new moon, it can be potentially for many and for humanity, for much of humanity, mark a time of tremendous spiritual opening. Many individuals are going to be, through this next lunar, I'll use language because this is the language that fits, you know, transcendental, spiritual, psychic, intuitive openings and expansions. It's not the only thing that will happen. There can also be potentially like a real big like wave of grief and sorrow and loss. A lot of souls departing this world. You know, which people are already experiencing this. People are going through a lot of loss. People they know are departing for different reasons. Yeah, so that's a part of this. You know, Pisces, the release, and Pisces is a sign. It's a water sign, so everything is felt in this sign. It's all feeling. Everything has to be felt here. So, yeah, that's that will be start to really come in on the 3rd. Mars will be conjunct Pluto on the same date. That's very powerful. And Mercury will be conjunct Saturn at 18 degrees on the same date. And then on the 6th, the Mars-Venus conjunction will happen at 0 degrees of Aquarius. So again, another strong month.
Yes, very much.
Yeah.
Very much. In different way. Every month's different. Different energies, but still the same. It's like powerful.
Very, very powerful. That's right. And we're in this process, aren't we? And it just seems to have very little let up. And I think just, you know, while we're still in the Aquarius energy, it is a really good time to meet with friends, meet with like-minded souls, you know, to keep those connections and contacts. Like tomorrow, 2 very dear old friends of mine, one lived interstate and one lives in Brisbane, and I've been trying to catch up with the Brisbane one for ages. We just always have other things happening. And the one from Melbourne's up here now, and so tomorrow the 3 of us are finally going to get together.
Oh, nice.
You know, and just so it's just really, you know, making space for those connections, even when it's online, you know, but in person is even better, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
it's
well, thank you for that. That's again another knowledge bomb's just gone off in my mind. Back in there.
So I hope that's helpful, and just, you know, like, I know you have a strong relationship with colors. You know, you talked about Aquarius and the aqua turquoise colors, that blue, and also an electric blue with Aquarius. When we come into Pisces, the colors really soften. You know, you get soft lavender, very soft, the colors of the sea, but they're not strong, they're soft.
Yeah.
You know, very quiet, beautiful. Yeah.
And I was reading about the color for Leo being orange. And because in orange you've got yellow and red.
Yes.
And you know, there's a lot of I mean, in color therapy, put it that way, that sort of represents knowledge is yellow and survival is red. So when you put them together, you have this spontaneous wisdom, you know, in that fire element of Leo.
Yes, beautiful. Yes.
Which you need to have. If you think of a lion in the jungle, it's got to have that. Does it got to have knowledge, you know,
right.
And it's about learned knowledge.
Yes.
From experience or whatever. And then the red for survival. So, yeah, it's I was going to break that down, but I might leave that until we do Pisces and look at
that's so interesting. And red to me is also an energy of action, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's also expressive sexuality, which is sex for joy and pleasure, not procreation.
Yes.
But when you think of orange, I always think of orange as a burning ember in a fire, but the actual flame is ruby gold. And so ruby is that ruby red, which is that, you know, action and spontaneity too. And the gold is wisdom. So, and that's that instinctual wisdom.
Well, you know, the metal or stone that governs Leo is gold.
Mm.
Actually gold and the color gold and those warm fire colors, orange, gold. There's a love of hot pink in Leo as well, but it's those really warm, strong, warm colors. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's orange. It restores our instinctive gut reactions. If we've sort of not on the ball with that sort of stuff.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. So that helps with that too.
Yes, colors are so fascinating because
Yeah.
they all hold energy and vibration and
They
resonance.
do. They do. Yeah. So anyway, I'll talk about that with Pisces next time.
Right. Right.
So once again, thank you.
Thank you, Sheryl.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure as usual, and lots of information to process. And do you have any workshops planned at this stage?
Well, actually, I'm going to be involved in another weekend workshop on beautiful Mount Tambourine at Grail Haven with 3 other fabulous women astrologers. The last weekend in March, literally the day before the solstice.
Okay.
So the second last week in March, the 19th, 20th and 21st, and the solstice is on the 22nd.
Okay.
So that will be coming up. We're still putting together the information. So I'll put that up on my website and Facebook and so on when that's all ready to go.
And what will you be covering?
I'm going to be talking about the elements.
Okay.
And another one's going to talk about Mercury Hermes, the psychopomp, in a very shamanic kind of way. She's fabulous on that stuff. Someone else will be talking on the nodes, the karmic nodes of fate, the Taurus, Scorpio, North and South node. And then there'll also be a wonderful talk by Jerry on Neptune and the dream time. So they're 4 talks that we're giving, but the other things we'll be doing will be more experiential process things, just sort of weaving it all in together. It's going to be an absolutely gorgeous weekend.
Okay, so it's over 2 days.
Over 2 days.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, there you go. Go visit Babula's website to find out more about that.
So over the next week, that information will come together and that will be posted.
Great. And actually, I'm offering a free full moon meditation on the 16th of February, which is Wednesday, Brisbane time at 7 p.m. Yep. So if anyone wants to hop online, you can go to the Body Light Centre Facebook page, and the details are on there, pinned to the top. So, and everyone's welcome.
Yes, it's in my diary.
Okay.
I'll see you there.
All right. Well, thank you once again. And everyone, we will remember, if you enjoyed this episode, please remember to like the episode. And if you haven't already, subscribe and remember to tap the bell to get the notifications.
And please ask questions if you have.
Ask questions, leave comments. We love comments.
Yeah, we do.
So until next time, until the next lunar cycle, we wish you well.
Bye, everyone.
Bye for now.